morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. You are in for a wonderful treat today as our students in the religious education program present the Nativity Story for us this morning. Before that, I urge you to look at the Sunday news in your order of service for all the events that are happening this week. Our Christmas Eve candlelight service will be at 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve right here, so I hope you'll come for that. Everything else is there and self-explanatory. This morning, our offering will be a split the plate. We're splitting the proceeds of our morning's offering with the Collier Senior Resources, the senior center, the new senior center in Golden Gate. We'll be talking a little bit about that a little later on. If you're new to this congregation, I would direct your attention to the back of the order of service where you'll find some information about our congregation and about Unitarian Universalism, and if you're interested in membership, a little bit more further on. So you just read down and you're practically a member right there and there. We are a welcoming congregation, and our mission is to freely seek intellectual and spiritual growth. We strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. And I urge you, if you have a cell phone or any other device, to turn that off now. I'll let you know that there are large print hymnals for those who have a difficult time seeing, and there are aids for hearing if you have some difficult hearing. So if that's the case, then see the ushers at the back or raise your hand. And we are just about ready to begin. I want to make sure that the kids are ready. And we can begin our processional. Christmas. Christmas is not a creed we have to believe in. It's not a feeling that comes and goes. Christmas isn't just something that happened long ago. And it isn't a story we tell so much as it is a drama in which all of us have become participants. Whether we believe that it happened just this way or not, Christmas is a reality here and now. Just as love is a reality, and compassion, a possibility waiting to be expressed in the ways we choose to be with one another. I will invite our angels to come up and light the chalice. And we start by lighting the chalice, symbol of our free faith, to affirm that new light is ever waiting to break through and enlighten our ways. And from our chalice flame, we light 5 candles that represent the points of a star. First, we light the candle of faith, a sustaining courage to face questions honestly and persevere during adversity, a faith for seekers who are willing to grow beyond safe expectations. Second, we light a candle of hope, knowing that we can see and seek out a better tomorrow, that the possibility for change exists in each of us and in the world every day. Third, we light a candle of peace. Knowing full well that this is often an elusive dream, we affirm the value of peace in our world and know that it begins here and now with greater peace in our own hearts. Fourth, we light the candle of beloved community, understanding that following the path together is richer and more meaningful than the journey alone, and that in feeling a part of the whole, we become more fully human. Finally, we light the candle of love, the great remedy to loneliness, the antidote to fear, and the greatest gift we can give one another.
We have a wonderful story to tell you today. And our actors have been working very hard, as has our costume lady, Ray, and we want to give them their full due. So we are now going to have the presentation of characters. This is the stable, dusty and brown, in a quiet corner of Bethlehem town. This is the star whose light shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the manger filled with hay to feed the animals sheltered away from the chilly night when the star shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the donkey, brown and white, who stood near the manger all through the night. This is the innkeeper, frazzled and rushed, saying, "No room," who would not be hushed. This is the sheep who's coming a little early. This is the mother, her manner so mild, singing and rocking her newborn child. This is her husband, patient and wise, guarding his family with watchful eyes. These are the shepherds tending their sheep out in the fields while the town was asleep. This is the lamb, fluffy and white, who's huddled together. Oops, hold on. Wait, we need him. We need him. Don't take him away. This is the lamb, fluffy and white, huddled together on that magical night. These are the angels, a glorious throng, who sang to the shepherds a wondrous song. These are the wise men, travelers three, who knew of an ancient prophecy. These are the gifts so fine to behold, frankincense, myrrh, and glistening gold. This is the camel with the swishing tail, whose gentle low hushed a baby's wail. And this is the baby born that night in a stable marked by the star so bright. We will now have our responsive hymn, which can be found in the teal hymnal, number 1061, for So the Children Come. We will now invite our teachers up to lead our responsive hymn.
I'm going to sing this for you once with Richard, and then I'm going to ask you to sing this song, and then it will be a response that we follow the narrative with.
For so the children come, and so they have been coming. Always the same way they come, born of the seed of a man and a woman.
No angels herald their beginnings. No prophets predict their future courses. No wise men see a star to show where to find the babe that will save humankind.
Yet each night a child is born is a holy night. Fathers and mothers, sitting beside their children's cribs, feel glory in the sight of a new life beginning. They ask, where and how will this new life end? Or will it ever end?
Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping.
As our wise men gather the plates, I invite you to generosity, to a time of generosity. The morning's offering this morning will be split between this congregation and the Collier Senior Resources. The Senior Center just opened in Golden Gate. This is an effort that springs from members of this community in part, and we honor them, especially Harriet Lancaster, who's worked long and hard to make this happen. So please give generously for this congregation and the Collier Senior Resource Center.
They told me that when Jesus was born, a star appeared in the heavens above, the place where the young child lay.
When I was very young, I had no trouble believing wondrous things. I believed in the star.
It was a wondrous miracle, part of a long-ago story foretelling an uncommon life.
They told me a supernova appeared in the heavens in the dying burst of fire.
When I was older and believed in science and reason, I believed the story of the star explained.
But I found I was unwilling to give up the star. fitting symbol for the birth of one whose uncommon life has been long remembered.
The star explained became the star understood. For Jesus, for Buddha, for Zarathustra.
Why not a star? Some bright star shines somewhere in the heavens each time a child is born.
Who knows what it may foretell?
No life, they again told, if we give but a chance. Very good.
We will now present the Nativity Story, or the story of the birth of Jesus. And since you're so good at getting your hymnals and reading out of them, I'm going to tell you, we have the hymns listed in the order of service, but there's an insert. We have, in Tony Heather fashion, altered the hymns. So please do not use your hymnals during this story when we ask you to read. Please use the little insert that has the hymns on it. Thank you very much. Okay, Jack, go ahead.
Once, a long, long time ago, before any of us were born, another baby was born. A baby who would change the world with his message of love. The baby's mother, Mary, and his father, Joseph, lived in the town of Nazareth, where Joseph was a carpenter. Mary and Joseph had to leave Nazareth and travel to the town of Bethlehem to pay their taxes. They loaded up their donkey with food and water and clothes for the baby and set out on a long journey that took many weeks. Joseph had to walk all the way so that Mary, who was carrying their baby, could ride on the donkey. When at last they reached Bethlehem, it was late in the evening. The town was noisy and crowded. Joseph and Mary tried to find a place to stay for the night. They went to an inn to ask for a room for the night.
We are weary travelers in search of a room. My wife carries our child who will soon be born.
But the town was so crowded with people that the innkeeper had to give them her apologies.
I'm sorry, I have no room in my inn, but I do have a stable where you could at least find a little warmth and comfort.
Mary and Joseph continued through the town until at last they found the quiet stable, dusty and brown, in a quiet corner of Bethlehem town. Joseph led Mary to the stable and made her a soft bed of hay, covering it with his cloak. Mary was very tired. That night, Mary gave birth to the baby. When the baby was born, Mary washed him and wrapped him in the clothes that she had brought with her. Joseph made him a bed in a manger. Mary laid him in the manger and said,
I will name you Jesus.
Please join us in singing O Little Town of Bethlehem. The lyrics are printed on the insert. Please remain seated. That night, there is a group of humble shepherds in a field outside of Bethlehem who were looking after their sheep when something happened that frightened them.
What is this that lights up the night?
Then an angel appeared to the shepherds. The shepherds were still afraid and a little curious, but the angel said,
Fear not, for I bring you good news for all people. On this day there is born a child in Bethlehem, and you will find him warmly wrapped and lying in a manger.
And then there were, not one, but many angels, a glorious throng. Goodbye. And the shepherds were filled with wonder. The angel said, Glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth, goodwill toward all people.
We must go to Bethlehem.
And the shepherds went to Bethlehem, and as they went, they spread the word of the birth of Jesus with great excitement. Please join us in singing The First Noel. The words are printed on the insert. Please remain seated.
And so, when the shepherds arrived in Bethlehem town, they found Mary and Joseph in the quiet stable, dusty and brown, and the baby Jesus lying in the manger. Far away to the east, there was also 3 kings, each in their own lands, who knew of a prophecy and who had seen the signs foretold by this prophecy.
I have seen a star rise in the east.
I have heard a prophecy of a baby who will be born to save humankind.
Let us take these baby gifts, fine to behold.
Okay. The 3 kings followed the star. Please join us in singing "We 3 Kings of Orient Are," which we will sing through twice. The words are printed on the insert. Please remain seated.
Of Orient are bearing gifts, we traverse afar, field and mountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Star, wonder, star bright, glory, royal beauty bright, westward leading still. Proceed, guide us to thy perfect light. The kings of Orient are bearing gifts, we traverse afar, field and mountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star, wonder, star.
The star, so bright, seemed to come to rest just above the town of Bethlehem, and even above the stable where the family was staying. When the 3 kings entered, they found Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. The kings honored the birth of this child by offering gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and gold.
And so the Magi laid their gifts out at the feet of the babe, gold and frankincense and myrrh, honoring this child born under the star of hope. And they departed, heading home by another way. But the story doesn't end there. And because this child, this baby Jesus, grew to his fullest potential to become a great leader and teacher who, in the spirit of love, challenged the thinking of his time and all the times since then, the story is really never ending. And even those who surrounded the babe on that starry night, from the kings to the animals in the manger, each of them has a timeless story to tell, stories that have flowed across the years and provided people of all ages with food for thought. Like the wandering couple, Mary and Joseph, Mary full with child, who made their way through a difficult journey and an uncertain arrival. Like them, can we too see that our greatest joys can issue forth from our greatest trials? From the harried innkeeper with his house full of demanding guests, can we see that even in our extreme busyness, time and energy can still be given to help the stranger in need? From the lumbering beasts in the stable, aware perhaps more than we of seasons and cycles, can we find in their stillness the lesson that there are times when we simply need to be silent witnesses to the unfathomable glories of life? And from the shepherds At first so afraid, then taken by curiosity and wonder, and then so moved with great excitement to spread the good word. Like these humble shepherds, can we see our way through our own fears to the possibility of becoming more aware and more involved of what's happening around us? And from the Magi, those wise travelers from strange and distant lands who followed their hearts to an unknown wonder, can we too find the courage to follow our own stars, even if the journey's end is not so sure? And like the angels, can we find voice to move beyond our own sphere, to cry peace to a troubled world? Because these questions don't yet have final answers, the story continues on, not to be put away at the end of the day tomorrow, but to be wrestled with and lived with by each one of us in all the days and weeks and years ahead. The message of the great teacher is that all the answers start with love. There is no other way. For each of us is born under a star of hope, and when guided by love, each one of us has within us the potential to change the world. I invite you to join together in singing Joy to the World, and this time you can rise. Oh, hold on a second. Oh. Okay.
Okay. This story of the birth of Jesus is a story of long, long ago. But when a baby is born, each and every baby, it is a magical and a holy event. This year and every year, we remember the birthday of the baby Jesus by giving and receiving gifts and singing like the angels.
And now, please rise and join in singing Joy to the World. The insert is in your order of service.
Closing words. The work of Christmas. When the song of angels is stilled, and when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the brothers, and to make music in the heart.